We're going to talk about the cells. So, Dr. Faria, why should we even care about the cells?
Well, when you think about it, I tell my patients this all the time, there are 30 trillion cells in your body, and your body's making new cells all the time. And so a lot of times when we look at a health problem, you want to put a name on something, let's reverse engineer it. And so every organ system, the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, your digestive system, no matter what it is, what is it made of? Cells. And inside every cells, there's the cell membranes, and then inside every cells, there's the mitochondria, which generates ATP energy. And inside your cells, you make one of your major antioxidants called glutathione. And so when things dysfunction, there's inflammation. I call it chronic cellular inflammation. It happens at the membrane level, the lipid bilayer. And that's going to affect what we call the receptors. It's going to affect how the cellular fluidity, how good things get in, and when metabolism happens, how waste products go out. And so when cells don't function correctly, then they don't go through the proper life cycle. Then sometimes they don't die correctly. They don't go through apoptosis correctly. And then you're going to have cells that make up a sick organ, and a sick organ is going to make a sick system, and a sick system is going to make a sick body. And then before you know it, it's going to, what I call the bucket theory of disease. It's when your bucket overflows, and then you're prompted to call a doctor because now your bucket's overflowing. You have all these symptoms. And in the allopathic world, that's where they begin treating this for that, either with a drug or sometimes even in functional medicine, take this supplement for that, instead of finding a strategy that gets to the root cause of what your bucket load is. If that makes sense.
I love how you said, even in functional medicine, it can still happen with supplements. It's like, well, doc, I think I have a thyroid problem. Okay, well, let's just try this supplement. It's like, really? We're not any better for doing that.
Yeah. It's like going to the health food store and, meeting the person and says, what do you got for thyroid? I just came from the doctor. I have hypothyroid, or I have Hashimoto's, or I have a GI problem. Oh, follow me. We're just going to go right down the aisle, and I have all this stuff for you to take. And, oh, you have high blood pressure? I have this. And before you know it, I have patients coming in. They're really dedicated to helping themselves, but, they got a bag load of supplements, and some of them good quality, some of them not very good quality. And before you know it, nothing's happening. And it's a miracle they're even still trying. So you really need a coach, just like in basketball, I played sports, or just like in anything that you did. You need somebody to take a look from the outside in and see what you're doing. Anything can cause anything, and it's never just one thing. And everyone's looking for the one thing. And it's not just one thing. It's toxins, it's hidden infections, it's GI problem, it's emotional, it's spiritual. It's a combination of all these things. And when that snaps, then all of a sudden you're going to have those symptoms, and you have chronic degenerative disease. And a lot of times your allopathic doctor is saying, well, you don't have a real diagnosis. You don't have cancer. You don't have this. You don't have that. So, here's something to help you sleep. Here's something to make you feel better. Here's something to wake you up. Here's something to make you go. Here's something to stop you from going. It's like whatever it is. So it's functional medicine is really getting those cells, at least my point of view, the cells functioning at a level so that they're working in synergy throughout the whole body, through every system of the body, and then allowing time. And it's a team approach. Like in my office, I says, now together, everyone's going to achieve more. Not just me. It's together. We're going to work this together. I'm going to give you the marching orders, and you're going to go out and you're going to do this, and we're going to celebrate your wins as we go along the way. That's how I look at it.
I love it. Let's get into the cells, because I remember back in high school biology, we're making our little foam ball of the cell, and there's one Golgi apparatus and one mitochondria and one nucleus, and there's just one of everything. But I know that's not accurate. So let's deep dive into the cell structure, and how that plays a role.
Well, let's keep it, for the most part, the KISS principle, keep it simple and smart. I don't like keep it simple, stupid. Always keep it simple and smart. But the cells are, we're learning new things about the cells all the time, and really how the cells function and how the cells communicate with each other. And you're right. There is some say the intelligence of the cell is not even in the nucleus, in the DNA. It's in the cell membrane itself. That's where the intelligence is. In fact, if you were to strip the cell membrane, the lipid bilayer, the cell would actually die. It would actually just die. And so and what's in those cell membrane is cholesterol. What's cholesterol? Is it a bad person? No, the last time I looked, it's not. These lipids, cholesterol is a hormone, and it's a hormone that converts into other hormones. And so all these lipids that are inside the cell membrane are critical, and they need to be nourished with essential fatty acids and the proper nutrients. And then, like we said, mitochondria, is there's just one mitochondria? No, there's multitudes of mitochondrial dysfunction. In fact, some say all disease starts at the mitochondrial level. And when the cells can't get enough oxygen or reaches a threshold, the oxygen goes into a stupid mode and stops burning, starts not functioning correctly, and that could lead to cancerous cells. And so inside the cells, and then there's the DNA, which is what we inherited from your mom, your dad, and there are things called epigenetics. That means you're not doomed to your genetics. Basically, there's triggers, whether it be toxins, inflammation, or other things that can turn on certain things that you inherited from mom or dad or both. You're not doomed. Like if you have a breast cancer gene, you're not doomed to get that breast cancer gene. But there are triggers that could turn that on. And so same thing with nutrigenomics and nutrition, your ability to absorb vitamin D, your ability to use fats, your ability to use B12 folic acid or convert it into its active form is going to be determined by your genetics and certain genetic variants. I don't like to call them defects, they're variants. And I don't even believe you can even give nutrition based on just your genetics, because you have to know what are the triggers that are turning it on. Some people, they get a snip or they learn something about their genetics and they think, well, this is the route, just looking at my 23andMe, and it isn't. You have to look at the total picture of what's going on. So the cells are very important. And the gut is another, what are they made up of? All systems, cells, right? What is the lining of the gut? The microvilli is made up of cells. And so what's happening there? What's causing leaky gut? What's causing things to digestion not to occur correctly? So it's a fascinating thing. 30 trillion cells, but then at the same time, I got to throw in there's 30 trillion organisms that live in our body. That's the microbiome, all the skin microbiome, the gut microbiome, the microbiome in your mouth. 30 trillion. Isn't it funny, Dr. Kylie, the last few years we were worried about a virus? And I go, well, how about the million viruses you got living in your body? And I said, there's 70 to 80% of your immune system's in the gut. And so there's and the neurotransmitters, you ever heard that saying, I got a gut feeling? Well, that's true. The serotonin, 90% of your neurons are made in the gut, and they affect your brain and how you feel and how you think. It's complex, but when you look at the crime scene, you don't want to leave any stone unturned, because you never know, one clue could be the master clue.
Ready to have all of your blood work compiled in one location where you can easily read it all together? Well, go grab my book, Why Are My Labs Normal, on Amazon. Grab it, learn how to read your own labs, and take the power back in your hands, because your normal blood work is loaded with answers. You just got to have the right person reading it, and the right person can be you. Go grab it on Amazon, Why Are My Labs Normal by Dr. Kylie Burton. Leave a review, and we'll see you on the next episode.